Shady Knight showcases the risks of developing a game around a fun and intuitive mechanic. It might actually become good. If you like Ultrakill but hate showers, play Ghost Runner. But if you love Ultrakill and have a functional family, you're gonna love Shady Knight. A game that is so fast-paced that just observing a speedrun would probably put a child from medieval Bohemia in a comatose state, where your only complaint at the end of a level where you died 20 times is that it wasn't long enough, and your only concern isn't whether you'll go so fast that you slide headfirst into a spike wall, but rather if you will look cool while doing it. A game that is so laser focused on rapid and seizure-inducing gameplay that even dying rewards you with a speed boost. Shady Knight answers the age-old question: would it be fun to do parkour on an abandoned Chinese construction site while the local Romanian community tries to defend their home by cutting off several of your limbs? Yes, the game starts with a pretty old knock-knock joke. The point being that I get my skull caved in by a 200-pound 16-year-old with Down syndrome. I don't know why he was this mad at me. Our only prior interaction was me cutting his arm off. As if dying during a routine home invasion wasn't already embarrassing enough, I'm pretty sure that I was sent into hell because I woke up to an ASMR YouTuber whispering directly into my ear that my death was purely a skill issue. In that moment I realized that this skull must be the Burger King employee I met last week. How do I know this? There was a machete stuck in his cranium. After carefully removing it, we are thrown into hell. What is hell? Well, apparently it's a series of increasingly difficult parkour challenges that you have to complete while 36 men who recently escaped a mental health institution want to play hot potato with your head. In the tutorial we are introduced to the single greatest feature any modern video game can have, after skins that show feet, mod support, and a yandere girlfriend: a grappling hook. The chain dagger is the very backbone of Shady Knight, and my newly found favorite addiction, giving me more dopamine than huffing any amount of gasoline ever could. Throw enemies around, throw yourself around, become a ballistic missile. That last clip was stolen from Reddit, because I still don't know how to do it. There's a ton of moves in this game, and they outright tell you, we're not gonna teach you everything, because we don't care. I've beaten the entire game, and every time I watch footage of a slightly more competent player, it's like watching Ghost Rider Rule 34. Because I never imagined that a chain could be used in such ways. Much like in real life, most of your problems can be solved with a grappling hook. You need to cross a large gap, grappling hook. You're not manly enough, grappling hook. You're not feminine enough, grappling hook. Your dumbass son keeps talking to you instead of bringing you another beer. If you can think of it, the grappling hook can do it, except for picking up weapons. I don't know what that's about. When you throw an enemy off a cliff, but suddenly think to yourself, you know what? I'm not done with you. You can just pull him back up and keep beating him into submission. This is a subtle nod to the intro of God of War Ragnarok, where Thor kills Kratos, revives him by using Mjolnir as a defibrillator, and then continues to beat the shit out of him. Honestly, I'm not sure what else to say. My script just says, meet right the grappling hook. The chain dagger is only one of not 30, not 40, but 6 weapons in Shady Knight, and that's including the barrel. And if you aren't a high-tier barrelmancer who's well versed in the art of throwing wooden drums at people's heads, there are enough weapons in this game to feed an entire family, as long as said family doesn't exceed their daily recommended allowance of 4 pieces of medieval weaponry and a leg. Due to the sheer volume of armaments in this game, I have decided to put them all in a tier list to make it easier to understand. Skip to the 47-minute mark if you're not interested. The sword is a sharp piece of iron, S tier. It also boasts an attack rate high enough to let you roleplay as Raiden, because you can turn enemies into a fine red mist, with the only condition being that you are within 4 inches, to ensure that you can penetrate first, before your enemy does it. The range is terrible, which is why I recommend using it more like an empty beer bottle, meaning that you should hurl it with maximum power at the nearest moving object, or throw yourself as hard as you can. Attacking with the sword in mid-air triggers one of the arguably strongest moves in the entire game, an AoE attack, decimating even elite enemies. Spamming this move is optimal for people with high latency brains that lack the IQ to continuously come up with creative and varying moves. Every weapon can be thrown and subsequently dashed to. You can do this almost infinitely, which is just as overpowered as it's fun. But don't use this strategy to cheese the final boss with a single sword. That wouldn't be very gamer of you. Now, try and guess what the strongest playstyle for the bow is. If you guessed throwing it at other people's heads, you would be right, as the bow is one of the few things in Shady Knight that stuns enemies when thrown, making it the most reliable projectile weapon in the game, as long as said projectile is the bow. Some people say it can even shoot arrows, but I wouldn't know. I use this weapon the correct way. Knights and spiders may spawn with a red aura around them. This makes them and the only way to remove this effect is to hit them with fire damage. In this scenario, a bow is almost always required, as arrows shot near fire sources are lit up and deal fire damage. This is also very useful against enemies that are weak to fire damage, such as ice slimes. However, you have to be careful with bows around open flames, as they may catch fire. This will inevitably... Sorry, wrong game. I got carried away. S tier. But Kane, why is your copy of Tears of the Kingdom running at 200 FPS with a resolution of 2K? Don't even worry about it. Usually, I wouldn't count the ability to kick people in the head as a weapon, but this man's leg is classified as one. It's strong enough to launch himself 3 meters up a wall while wearing full armor. The wall part is optional, as you can also use other people as launch platform. The normal kick doesn't do a whole lot on its own, which is why I just call it the ragdoll button. The air kick is your only option to deal damage when you're out of blades or ammo. While I don't recommend exclusively using air kicks to deal damage, it is possible. The slide kick can stun enemies reliably and every single time. Sometimes. You can even kick chairs. Leg tier. The lance is the refined man's weapon, because you actually need to be somewhat competent to use it efficiently. This is why it's introduced last, as using it effectively requires at least a degree in aerospace engineering and being a chess grandmaster. Or, alternatively, watch at least 3 seasons of Rick and Morty back to back while snorting gamer subs. Being able to use the lance is a status symbol in the Shady Knight community, equivalent to aristocrats in Victorian England showing off their family pineapple to impress guests at parties. Personally, I just throw it like a javelin. What is this insane gameplay mechanic that I've been hyping up for the past hour? You can use the lance to jump higher. S tier. Why is every weapon in S tier? Because they're all just that reliable and effective in almost any situation, and not because I only have like 7 hours in this game and am in no way qualified to rank any of these. So they all get an S for effort. There are probably dozens of moves that I haven't mentioned simply because I don't know them. So when I say they're all fun, don't take it from me. Take it from this cute Japanese maid I found live streaming on TikTok. I don't know where to go from here. So this game is lucky that I'm a fan, because when a game I like has minimalistic level design, it's gameplay oriented and designed for fun first, with very little to get in the way. But if I don't like it, it actually has lazy level design and next to no effort was put into it. This is because I'm a true gamer who still can't get over the personal bias I developed for titles I played when I was 9 years old, and my nostalgia makes me incapable of perceiving anything released past 2012 as little more than greedy cash grabs. I'm sorry, that was personal. Sometimes levels have light puzzle elements. Why is this not listed in the Steam tags? Because every game is a puzzle game when you are incompetent. In the level Warning Flame, I was stuck for 10 minutes because of an impossible jump that I couldn't figure out. It turns out that I had to do a charged kick while sliding over a ramp. There is a 50% chance that this was covered in some obscure wall text, which serve as tutorials, that I ignored, because tutorials are hard to read while you are being assaulted by a gang of Australian men, and their pitbull-sized pet spiders try to attach themselves to your skull. Enemies from the intro aren't especially noteworthy. They run up to you, try to sever a random limb, fail miserably, and get used as trampoline. Their design philosophy most closely resembles that of a Chinese soldier in the year 1951. Their cannon fodder. More interesting enemies include bow guys, who will kill you immediately if you stand still or think for more than a second. Elite guy, whom I, when introduced, thought was a boss enemy, only to have 7 of them thrown at me in a row. They can recover from stuns mid-air, will always use and drop lances to assert intellectual dominance over you, and can casually dodge the chain dagger if they feel like it. And thick guy, whose only motivation in life is to crush your head like a watermelon between his thighs. Don't worry though, he can barely walk. He teleports, and much like God, when he can't reach you, he will send you a sign. In the the form of over 9,000 MSV of ionizing radiation. The story is a piece of literature so intricate, so masterfully crafted, that it's up there with the likes of Hemingway or XQC.
The problem with this is that knowing everybody would fall for this, that it's real.
A guy comes into your castle and kills you, so you track him down and kill him. Segments of this are usually broken up by the skull appearing out of nowhere and acting like he's giving you deeply philosophical advice and asking you profound questions, such as, do not let them swarm you to death. Orbs are the keys, and a man who cleans his house expects visitors. In all honesty, it's clear that the developer didn't care about the story. Let me explain why that's a good thing. Bullet time with swords instead of bullets. The antagonist, who I personally believe is philanthropist and entrepreneur Darman, also frequently appears in hell to taunt you. You can try to attack him if you want your ribcage to be split open and be sent into the nearest body of water. I will say that the story contains one of my favorite narrative tropes, in that after you finally kill him and get your revenge, you become the new Darman, cursed to continue the endless cycle of violence and also exploiting and underpaying your actors. Is this a case of a low-effort, revenge-bad story? I don't know. You can kill a guy by kicking a sword into his chest like a football. I don't care about the story. Similar to Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and Animal Crossing, this game also has a style system. No, I won't elaborate on that. Trying to play stylish has killed me more often than I would like to admit, but it was worth it every single time. I don't care if this man is falling to his death. I'm going to grapple towards him just to see if I can pull off something cool while doing it. Even though I have about as much foresight as a 16-year-old with $400 billion. Because how is the enemy supposed to know what I'm doing if I don't even know what I'm doing? Scoring anything below an S rank on any given level causes me to start hyperventilating and break every piece of gaming hardware near me. Why would you repeatedly throw yourself into a spike wall in hopes of getting that sweet triple S rank? Because the skull said, please don't let me die of boredom. He wants me to take risks and make objectively stupid decisions for the sake of his entertainment. That's right, this manifestation of evil is actually just a Twitch chat. My only complaint is that the developer is a Redditor. You can easily find old development footage on Reddit and YouTube and see how it's slowly coming together. This also means that you can DM the developer on Reddit to ask him about the preferences of Shady Knight, though I can't guarantee that he will respond. I also want to apologize for only referring to the skull as a he. I fully recognize that women are also capable of being damned to guide others through hell for all of eternity. I love this game. You can fuck up fighting so bad that you fall off a cliff and land at the start of a level. Arguably worse than killing you. You have to take an entire hike back up. Once I accidentally pressed restart instead of continue on a level I had just completed. I could have easily left the level and moved on to the next one, but I ended up completing it again, just because it was so goddamn fun. Shady Knight is incredibly hard to put down, especially when entering a new stage is as simple and smooth as just jumping into a boat and subsequently being thrown into the level like some sort of discarded child. Kane, are these actually your Patreons? Or just people who commented on your last video? How about you mind your own business? If you stuck around this far into the video, then it can only mean one of two things. You intend to clone my voice using AI to create your very own Goonette husband, or you are a long-time viewer, in which case you expected this video to be German. Well, if I really am German, then how come I don't know how to pronounce the word Eichhornchen? If doing English content bombs completely, I will just walk the path of shame back to being a German YouTuber, where most of my viewers come from highly intellectual and distinguished videos, such as Forklift Roleplay and These Demon Girls Need Special Food. I am deeply disappointed in two of you specifically.
I am so lonely. I am omning it so good. Whoa!